Say his name in any room full of anime fans, and you get the same reaction. Sunglasses, blindfold, throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. Satoru Gojo isn't just a character, he's a meme, a power fantasy, the automatic answer to who wins in a fight. He erases the strongest curses without blinking. He teaches like it's a hobby. He treats the apocalypse like a mild inconvenience between snacks. That's the Gojo everyone remembers first. But that Gojo is a performance, and the story tells you that almost immediately. It just waits for you to notice. Go back far enough and there's no swagger. There's only a child born into the Gojo clan, carrying the 6 eyes and limitless, a combination the clan had waited generations for. Before Satoru was a person to anyone, he was an inheritance, a vessel the clan had been engineering toward for centuries. He never got to find out what he was capable of on his own terms. He was told what he was before he could ask, and the one person who treated him like a person instead of a prophecy, Suguru Geto, is the same person the story eventually breaks in half. Geto's fall isn't a side plot, it's the origin of everything Gojo becomes. Watching the one person who saw him clearly decide that humanity wasn't worth protecting, and being unable to talk him back from that ledge, despite being the strongest sorcerer alive, teaches Gojo the lesson that defines the rest of his life. Power doesn't save the people you love, it just means you're the one left standing when they're gone. This is where the thesis sharpens. Gojo's strength doesn't free him, it isolates him completely. He can't have a real fight, so there's no rival to push against. He can't be surprised, so there's no mystery left in the world. He can't be beaten, so there's no stakes in his own survival. Infinity doesn't just stop attacks, it stops connection. Nobody can get close enough to actually reach him, physically or otherwise, so he builds a second life around teenagers instead. Yuji, Megumi, Nobara. He doesn't just train them, he lives through them. Their fights are the only fights that still mean something to him, because he's finally found people he's terrified of losing. That fear is the closest thing Gojo has to feeling human again. Watch how careful he gets around his students. The same man who mocks grown sorcerers to their faces goes quiet and deliberate with kids. That shift is the tell. The mask isn't for enemies, it's for the loneliness underneath. And then there's Shoko, the one relationship where he doesn't perform at all. No jokes, no bravado, just 2 people who've survived the same war, exhausted in the same way. It's the only place in the whole series where Gojo sounds like someone's actual friend instead of everyone's favorite character. The prison realm sequence is the story finally answering its own question. What happens to the strongest man alive when he's removed from the board entirely? Nothing collapses instantly. The world just gets worse, slowly, in ways only visible in hindsight, because it turns out Gojo wasn't holding back one threat. He was the only thing making an entire generation of sorcerers believe they didn't need to be as ruthless as the world demanded. And when he finally dies, not to some inevitable symbolic force, but to Sukuna in a fight that's framed as genuinely even, it isn't a tragedy built on him losing. It's a tragedy built on what his death proves, that even the strongest cage eventually has a door. Gojo spent his whole life being the exception. His death is the story insisting he was never actually exempt from any of it. Not loss, not fear, not the ending everyone else gets. Gojo Satoru is remembered as a power fantasy, but the character underneath the meme is a study in what unbeatable strength actually costs. Every real connection filtered through fear of losing it. Every relationship built on the assumption it can't last. Every joke, a small rebellion against the solitude he never chose and could never train his way out of. He wasn't strong because he was free. He was strong because it was the only cage built precisely to his size. If this hit different, like the video, share it with someone who still thinks Gojo was just the strongest, and subscribe if you want more deep, cinematic character breakdowns like this. The strongest never walk free, they just wear the cage better than anyone else.